Welcome to the call today, guys. Today we're here with Parker Walbeck, the one and
How's
only.
it going, guys? Good to be here.
Yes, yes. Now Parker is like a total boss, cinematographer, editor, world traveler, like course creator, everything, right? You're killing it, right?
I've been around the block, I guess.
How long have you been filming for, man?
About 4 years. So
Dang.
I actually got into it in high school, just with dinky little video cameras,
Yeah.
making, Backstreet Boy cover videos with my buddies in high school.
Yep.
And I just fell in love with it. It was just a fun hobby. And so I considered doing it as a career, but all my, friends and family told me that you can't make that into a living. It's a hobby.
Yeah, yeah.
So I listened to him, and I said, "Yeah, you're probably right." And so I went to school, went to college um, in marketing, advertising, and while I was going to school, doing things I didn't really care about, I was doing sales. I was doing door-to-door sales over the
Seriously, like
summers.
knock knock, like door to door, for real.
Door sales and
What were you selling? Kirby vacuums or something?
DirecTV.
Nice, super sick.
DirecTV sale, yeah. So I was that annoying dude knocking on your door telling you got to switch to DirecTV. So I spent about a month out in Texas selling one summer, and I came across Steve Jobs inaugurate or his speech he gave to Stanford. I
Okay,
think
yeah, that one's super good.
so good, the commencement speech. That's what it is. And he said something that just hit me so hard. He said, "Every day of my life, I've woken up and looked myself in the mirror and said, if I'm about to do what I don't want to do today, I need to change something."
Yeah.
And I had been waking up every morning dreading going out on the doors and knocking. And it just inspired me to make a change. And I'm like, I hate doing this. I don't care how much money I can make, because it was good money. But I
Yeah.
realized I'll never be happy in life if I'm doing something just for money.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision right then and there. I'm going to find what I'm truly passionate about, and I'm going to turn that into my job. I was committed to doing that. So I quit right there on the spot,
Sick.
drove 18 hours back to Utah, and started searching for my passion, for my true love.
Wow.
And that's when I came across a video on YouTube by a guy named Devin SuperTramp. I'd never heard of this guy, but I watched one of his videos, this video he shot in Kauai, and it was just absolutely beautiful, just completely inspiring. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to filmmake, and here's a guy who's doing it for a living. There's
Mhm.
living proof that you can make a living as a filmmaker. And so, luckily, he blogged. He had behind the scenes. He was
Mhm.
showing everything he was doing and the equipment he used. And I said, "Here's my ticket in. Like, this is the guy who, is doing it, and he tells you how to do it." And so, I dumped. I bought a T3i, a Tokina 11-16, a Glidecam HT2000.
Yes.
Like a $1,300 setup, nothing special, but enough to
Yeah.
get into it,
Totally. Yeah.
I always tell people one of the biggest mistakes I think a lot of young filmmakers make is they're not willing to invest in their future. They always come to me and say, "I don't have money." I'm like, neither did I.
Mhm.
Like, I had to go into debt.
Yep.
I asked my dad for a loan and said, "Dad, I really believe in this. I think this is something I could get good at." And
Mhm.
not that I'm encouraging people to go into debt, but be willing to invest in your future. Be willing to work hard, invest some money, spend some good money to buy some professional gear to get yourself going,
100%.
because it's gonna jumpstart you and allow you um, to to stand out from the crowd if you can buy some decent gear. But so I bought this gear, and then I realized I've never owned a camera. How do I use this? And so I spent the rest of that summer watching YouTube tutorial after YouTube tutorial. You guys know the drill. You guys have all
Yep.
done. You watch a 15-minute video, you get 30 seconds of information, and then you have to go watch another video to get another 30 seconds. Before you know it, you spend a week to learn 5 things.
That's totally how it is. And like, I hate when I'm watching a tutorial and the majority of it is just their intro. It's like 30 seconds of like a spinning logo comes in and it's like crazy Dave's crazy tutorials.
You always skip to minute 1 or 2
Yeah.
to try and find the content.
Yeah, right.
And that's one of the reasons I created Full-Time Filmmaker.
Yeah.
This program is looking back on when I first started. I'm like, that was the most frustrating experience. It took me 4 months to learn what I could have learned in 2 weeks
Yep.
if I would have had the material that I'm now teaching to other people.
Totally, yeah. Finding like legit sources of information, tutorials online is like really tough. Like trying to compress that information down, like it's really tough to find that stuff, but it's crazy.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of people since I announced this full-time filmmaker tell me, I've been looking for something like this.
Yep.
You know, one-stop shop, something where I can get all the information I need in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've set it up chronologically so you can learn from beginning to end what equipment to buy, how to use it, how to make it cinematic, how to edit,
Yep.
and then how to convert that into money, how to turn it into a business, you know. And, you know, I've only been launched for a day now.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Congrats. Yeah, launch was yesterday. That was so awesome. You're giving away glide cams. You had a ton of people on there.
Yesterday we gave away 5 glide cams.
So sick.
50 people signed up. They all joined the online Facebook community.
Yes,
They're all
so sick.
Just like, this content rocks. I've been waiting for this my whole life. So,
yes, so rad.
Super exciting for me to see the knowledge I've gained over the years, which I'll go into in just a sec, impact people who are just getting started now.
Yep.
To start their own careers. It's very fulfilling for me to give back and allow other people, enable others to do what I've done. So, like I said, I bought that gear, spent the whole summer watching uninformative YouTube videos until I got a little hang for it.
Yep.
And then I went down to school at SUU, and the first event I went to was this awesome paint dance. You can go to my YouTube channel to watch it, Parker Walbeck. It's a SUU paint dance or something.
Yep.
So I'm at this paint dance, and I noticed nobody's filming it. And I'm like, shoot, here's an opportunity for me to create some content. And so I ran to my car, grabbed my camera equipment. Always have your gear on hand. One of my favorite quotes is, I can't remember the quote actually, but basically you can't create a good photo if you don't have your camera. So you always got to have your camera with you, you know?
Yep.
So I ran to my car, grabbed the camera, jumped up on the stage, and just started acting like I was the one who was in charge of filming the event. I was up in the DJ's face, and I'm like directing people what to do, and I was just confident.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things I teach in the course, but you got to fake it till you make it.
100%.
You got to have the confidence to just go out and create content.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be 1,000 people out there who are better than you, and there were so many times where I was like, who am I to film this concert, to film this event? And I'm like, who am I not to? Just get up and do it, man. You know, so you got to have the confidence to be able to say, even though I don't know how to do this, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to put content out there and show the world what I can do. You know,
I think that's a really good point. Like, when you're just getting started, it's so easy to say like, oh, you know, I'm just a guy with a camera and kind of shy off and back off and like not try and get the shot and just kind of let it happen. But like you're saying, you know, when you have the camera and you're at an event, like it could be like, you know, a dance party or just some like a foam party or like a color party like you're talking about. It's a great location to get a lot of cool footage, and that's going to turn into views, which will turn subscribers and eventually business. But then also, if you think about it, like just having a camera, you kind of have license to do whatever you want. A lot of people just assume that you're media and you can just walk into wherever you want, which is it's almost like a hack.
And that's one of the reasons I say buy some professional looking gear. If your gear looks expensive and looks nice, people are automatically going to respect you and they're going to think you're professional, whether you are or not. I barely knew how to use the thing, but I acted like it and it looked really cool, and so people are like, "Oh shoot, here's the video guy. Let's get on camera."
It's hard to do with like a point and shoot, like not gonna happen.
Exactly. So I spent that whole night just faking it till I made it and just filming the crap out of that event.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled an all-nighter, posted the video the next morning after I edited it all night. And everyone just loved it. They were sharing all over the school, including the administration, who contacted me and brought me in the office and said, "We will give you a scholarship if you film the rest of our events this year." And I'm like,
"Wow,
okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that." You know, so I went from not knowing really how to use the camera to the director of cinematography at SUU. You know, like all of a sudden I was this bigwig on campus.
That's so cool.
Simply because I put myself out there, had the confidence, and I faked it till I made it. You know? And so that's a huge thing I tell people is you got to put yourself out there. You got to go out and create content. And whether you know how to use it or not, the only way you're going to learn, whether you learn the principles, I tell this to people who take my course, after you've taken the course and I've taught you my ways, you're never going to get anywhere unless you go out and apply it. You have to create content. It's the best way to learn.
That's so sick.
So once I had kind of established myself at SUU, I got a scholarship. I got hired on by the gymnastics team to travel with them and film all
Wow,
their
that's
meets.
cool.
I started getting weddings and music videos, and within a few months, I paid off all my gear that I bought a few months earlier. And, you know, that goes back to the idea of be willing to invest in your future and put the work in necessary to get a return on your investment. You know, so many people, this is an expensive hobby. Anyone who's trying to get into filmmaking
100%.
realizes camera gear is expensive. This isn't a cheap, you know, fun hobby to do. And so I'm sitting here telling people, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on camera gear, why wouldn't you spend a few $100s on educating yourself on how to use it to make your return on your investment and actually profit from the gear you own, rather than buying it and, you know, a few months later having to sell it because you never really learned how to use it well, you know? So that's what my course kind of enables people to do.
Yeah, I think that's also a super good point, is like just having the dedication to like reinvest back into your business, you know?
Exactly.
Because like you're saying, you started off with a T3i and a Tokina, which are like, you know, they're great starter lenses, a great starter kit, but like it's not going to take you where you want to go, which is like doing much larger gigs and working with more professional people, right? And so it's like, because you had the ability to like reinvest into it, pretty soon you're probably buying Canon glass, you're upgrading to like a 5D or something like that.
Well, and that's what I did next. So because I made a return on my investment, I'm like, shoot, I got some extra cash now. And so I bought a 5D Mark III, a 16 to 35 millimeter L series lens, a 70 to 200 L series, and my glide cam, of course. And so I upgraded to now a $7,000 setup. And, you know, that was crucial to the next step that happened in my life, which was I had the opportunity to meet Devin SuperTramp in person.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions about that one, so please go into that one.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me, how did you get started? Like, how did you meet Devin? It's the funniest, craziest story, but he posted one day on Facebook saying, I did this shoot in Hawaii, some of the shots didn't work out, and we need an actor who has arms that looks like this. And he posted a picture of his actor's arms.
Okay, it was like a Far Cry video, right?
Far Cry 3 is a video, yep. And so I posted a picture of my arms and I said, how do these puppies look? And he's like, perfect, can you be in Provo tomorrow? And I'm like, heck yes. And so... Because
you're already from Utah, right?
Yeah, so I live about 30 minutes from Devin.
Dude, easy.
But so I always joke that my arms got me in the door. I was Devin's arm model in his Far Cry 3 video.
That's so crazy. That's such a good story. I love it.
But again, I had to fake it till I made it because he asked me, but do you know how to use guns? And I'm like, yes. I'd never touched a gun in my life. So I spent the rest of that night having my buddy teach me how to hold a gun and live with it. And then I show up the next day and I'm acting all professional, holding these guns. And, you know, if you go watch the Far Cry 3 video, you see that I'm the one killing everybody in the video with my arms. So
that's crazy.
So that's how I met him. I was his arm model for his Far Cry 3 video. But I took advantage of it. And while I was there on set with him all weekend, I asked him, you know, who's helping you edit? Who's helping you do behind the scenes? And he's like, I'm actually looking for someone right now because I'm growing and I'm overwhelmed. And I'm like, well, here's my work. Here's what I'm capable of. I'd love to come help you out for free, do some behind the scenes, throw me some edits. Let me help you out, man. I'm super passionate. And I said, I don't have a ton of experience. I've only been doing this for a few months, but I promise you, nobody will work harder. No one will be more passionate than I would working for you. And that must have rang a bell with him because the next week he called me to come shoot a behind the scenes for him, and the rest is history.
Wow.
I worked my butt off. I showed him how much value I could bring to his operation, and he ended up hiring me on full time. And that's something I tell a lot of people is you need to have the confidence to reach out to people who have already succeeded in the industry. Some people will shy away and say, well, they're going to think I'm competition, and so I don't want to let anyone know that I'm getting into it. No, reach out to people and network. Your circle of influence is so important, not in this job, but in any job. The people you surround yourself with is going to raise your profile like crazy. The fact that I had my name attached to Devin and associated with him for years is what's made my career start.
Absolutely, yeah, that's so cool. You totally took that opportunity and just leveraged the heck out of it to blast off.
And the key to that is adding value first. I was willing to lend him my arms for a weekend of my time, and then I was willing to work for him for several weeks, even a few months for free, just show him how much value I could bring to him.
That's so sick.
Don't go, knocking on someone's door who has 100,000 followers and say, "Can you share my work?" No, approach them and say, "I think I can add some value to your operation by this. I think I can add value to you by this. Can I help you out with this?" And then once you've added value, they're going to want to return the value to you.
That's so cool.
They're going to want to share your work.
I think that's something that transfers across all of life. If you give first, you're always going to receive so much more in return.
And very few people understand that, and that is a tremendous key to business in general and in life, like you said. That's just going to help you be successful in life.
Yep.
Give people value before you ask for it.
That's so cool.
And so I then spent the next 3 years traveling to over 15 different countries.
So sick.
And that's one of the cool perks of this job is as a filmmaker, you get to see the world. You get to do amazing things, you know? And so I got to see amazing cultures, amazing people, and I got to work with some of the top brands in the world, with Ford, with Mountain Dew, with Panasonic, all these big-time brands.
Yep.
Because I was working alongside Devin SuperTramp as his cinematographer and his head editor, I got to see what it was like to work inside on some of these big high-end productions. You know? And that's such valuable knowledge that so many people want to tap into. And I realized that because as soon as I left DevinSupetramp, and the reason I left DevinSupetramp, people always ask me, well, if it was so amazing and great, why'd you leave?
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, the main reason is, and this goes for any business, not just filmmaking, but anytime you're an employee for somebody, there's a cap on how far you can progress and grow within the company.
Yep.
And yes, I'm a filmmaker, but I'm also an entrepreneur.
Yep.
What thrills me, what pushes me, what motivates me, what fulfills me and satisfies me is when I grow, is when I progress, is when I'm pushing myself to my fullest potential. And after a few years with Devin, I loved the work, but I felt like I wasn't stretching myself far enough. I felt like I had grown as much as I could. I had Devin as my personal mentor. He taught me so much. But I got to the point where I was like, okay, I think I can grow more, and I can't do it under his realm.
Wow.
And so I branched off and started my own production company. And as soon as I made that decision, that fulfillment and that satisfaction shot through the roof.
Wow.
And it was tough leaving that behind because I put so much into building DevinSupetramp for him and with him. But as soon as I left, my job satisfaction shot through the roof, even though I wasn't traveling to as many cool places and working with as big of brands. But now I was growing something that was my own, and that was so much more satisfying,
That's so cool. I can totally respect that because, looking at it, you're in the position, you're in like every person's dream, so to speak. You're like working with some of the biggest clients. You're all over YouTube with like the biggest YouTube celebrity, but at the same token, you're like still focusing on, okay, is this really where I want to be in life? Is this like where I see my purpose or like my destiny going? And you took a good hard look at it, and you're like, you know what? I think I can achieve more. So good on you for that one. I respect that.
It definitely, and part of that was I got married to my beautiful wife, who's right there behind me.
Congrats. Hi, Parker's wife. Do you want to introduce her?
And so I was getting married, and I was on the road half of the year, and I realized I can't have a functional relationship and family life if I'm on the road half the year.
Totally,
and, Devin's single, and he can get away with that. But I was about to commit to a lifelong relationship. And so part of that decision of leaving was also tied to the fact that I was getting married and wanted to start a business of my own that I could build a business that wouldn't require me to have to travel as much. But yeah, so I refer back to that a lot. My experience with Devin, having him as my personal mentor was so valuable to me.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I realized that if I were to create a course like this full-time filmmaker, it wouldn't be fair to tell people if you just take this course you can be successful. Because the truth of the matter is, by having Devin Graham as my personal mentor to be able to ask him questions and refer to him, have him teach me his ins and outs of things, having him there by my side was just as much, if not more, beneficial to my growing process. And so as a part of the full-time filmmaker program, I'm including myself as your personal mentor. And I'm giving you personal access to me so that, when you have questions, ask me and I can answer them and help you shorten your learning curve. To me, that's what it's all about. Help you get on the track faster so that instead of taking 4 months just to get going like it took me, I can get you there in a few weeks so you can start making that return on your investment a lot quicker.
That's so sick.
And from there, so when I quit working with Devin SuperTramp, I was getting bombarded with so many Facebook messages and Instagram messages. Everyone was asking me, how do you, what equipment should I buy? How did you get started?
Yep.
How do you do shots with the glide cam? What's your color correction process? What help me, you know?
Yeah.
And I was constantly answering questions, and finally I'm like, you know what? Enough of this. I'm just gonna build a course out of this and teach people everything they need to know. So I posted on Instagram, and I said, what do you guys want to know? Tell me, I'm gonna answer all of it. I'm gonna build a course. And I got probably 400 or 500 questions, and I organized all those questions into sections chronologically, you know, from beginning to end, how to make it as a filmmaker. And then I spent the next month scripting 100 pages. I could probably write a book from all the questions I've answered. I scripted 100 pages of answers, and a lot of these questions I studied, you know, because I wanted to make sure it's one thing to know how to do something, it's another thing to know how to teach it.
Yep.
And so
it's like you relearn it when you learn how to teach it.
Exactly. And so I wasn't just saying off the top of my head, this is what I think. I was actually studying to make sure I'm giving the best possible answers so people are actually learning. And so after I scripted it out for about a month, then I spent the next 6 months filming and editing and building what is now a 44 video, 6 hours of content course. And the best part is, like we were talking about earlier, it's pure content. There's no 1 minute intros of me scratching my butt telling you about how my day's gone. I just jump right into it and I tell you, all right, we're going to talk about shutter speed. This is how it works. You know, so you get all the information you need in a matter of minutes.
That is so sick.
And I tell people all the time, like, these concepts took me years to figure out. It took me years of working with Devin to fully understand, and I'm going to teach you it in 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know, so to me, this is, like I said, the course that I wish would have existed when I first started. And I've only gotten amazing feedback so far from those who have jumped into the course the past couple of days.
Cool.
Of people just saying, this is what I've been waiting for, man. I'm so grateful for you. And that's so fulfilling for me, like I said, to be able to see people in the position I was a few years ago and have this opportunity to have something I wish I had is just so fulfilling for me. So I'm super excited about it. And
that's killer.
I'm excited. The other thing is I'm excited about the community. I opened a private Facebook group, and everybody's been jumping into it real quick. There's maybe 150 members right now, and there's already 100 posts on there. People sharing work and giving feedback. And where are you from? Is anyone from Australia? I am. Oh, dude, we should collaborate. You know, networking is such a big part of filmmaking and in business in general.
It
and
totally
it's hard to find other creatives out there who can motivate and inspire and give you feedback and who you can grow with. And so not only is it just, you know, personal mentoring for me, but it's a peer mentoring program where you're getting feedback from other like-minded creatives. And I'm just super excited for it. I think a lot of people are going to grow. And my ultimate goal is to not only teach people, not only save them money on buying equipment and teaching them how to use it to its fullest potential and teaching them all of my ins and outs and everything that I learned of working with Devin SuperTramp, but ultimately I want to enable other people to start their own businesses. There's the old adage, you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime. I want to teach you how to do my job so I can enable you to have a job for your entire life. And if it's not a job, if it's just a hobby or just for fun, at least I'm teaching you how to use your expensive equipment you bought to its fullest potential so you can enjoy using it for your whole life.
Wow.
And so that's the whole goal of Full-Time Filmmaker. That's why I put so much time into it, is because I really feel it can change people's lives, and I'm already seeing it, and it's super exciting to me.
That's so cool. I think it's going to help a lot of people, man. I'm really excited for you to like grow that and just see it like blossom. Now, I want to go back for a second and talk about how you're talking about the idea of, you know, you can't be this person out there alone doing it. You have to have like mentors and a creative like community around you, because I think a lot of people are kind of siloed, and you know, they're the one guy of their friends that like plays with the camera. But when they can get onto whether it's your filmmaking group or the Dope Shot Club or just connect with any person around them that is also like going the same direction, it can like multiply what you're doing and like make it just skyrocket your success. So I think that's like a really critical point to like take on. You know?
If any of you guys, have you heard of Peter Voogd?
No, I haven't.
Peter Voogd is he's an entrepreneur coach. He teaches people how to start their own businesses.
Okay.
I eat his podcaster. I highly recommend anybody who, not only for filmmaking but just business in general, if you want to start your own business, go watch Peter Voogd, Voogd. His podcasts are amazing, teaching you the principles behind being a successful businessman.
Sick.
But one of the things he says is they did a survey of the richest people in the world, and what do they attribute their wealth to? And the top two things they attribute their wealth to are their social capital, the people they know, and their relationship skills. Those are the top. It's not their personal skills in programming or business. It's the fact that they know people and they know how to keep good relationships.
Wow.
That's why they're rich.
Hell yeah.
You know? And I attribute my success as a filmmaker, a very big chunk of that, to the fact that I attached myself to someone successful like Devin SuperTramp and was able to learn and grow with him over several years. And so I'm huge on that, is networking, connecting, and growing your circle of influence.
Wow, that's awesome. Such good takeaways, man. Such good takeaways. So, okay, so like what would be like the number one or number two things that you learned when working with big clients with Devin?
That's a good question. Going back to what I was saying about fake it till you make it, Devin and I had never shot a Ford commercial.
Yep.
You know? It was his first time. It was obviously my first time.
Yep.
I jumped in at a time when he was starting to get a lot of big clients, and I kind of realized that neither of us really knew what we were doing, and we just had to kind of fake it till we made it, and have the confidence that if we just did what we knew and just did the best we could and acted like we were professionals, people would think we were, and people loved the work we were putting out. You know, his following was growing like crazy, and your work should speak for itself. You know, and that goes along with landing clients as it does for keeping clients. Your work should speak for itself, and have confidence in your work. If you landed the job through the work they saw, have confidence in that work. Sick. You know, as you're working for those clients. I think a lot of people shy away from opportunities to grow into new areas and work with bigger clients because they think, you know, I've never done anything like that. I haven't shot a production of that. I don't know how to do that lighting. I don't know how to do it. How else are you going to learn? Just do it. You know,
Gotcha.
You can only study so much. You have to go out and actually do it.
Yep.
Even on those big high-end productions, we were still faking it till we made it. Yep. And the thing is, when you choose growth, your confidence grows as well. That's the coolest part, is when you overcome that intimidation and you choose and take those opportunities to grow, you actually become more confident, and you actually become the role. You make it, and that's, you know, huge to me.
That's powerful.
I'm trying to think of what else specifically. I mean, there's so much on a set with big. I think one of the things that was tough from the beginning with Devin and I was learning how to strike a balance between the creatives, us, the people they hired to make a creative project, and the corporate who needs their car in every shot and needs the logo in every shot. And we're like, no, like there's got to be a balance. You got to allow us to do our creative and to make this visually stunning and pleasing. And we're going to throw your car in there, but not in every shot, you know? So that was a tough balance to find.
Totally.
Working with clients, and because nobody wants to watch an advertisement that's just in your face, look at our logo, look at our product. People want to be entertained. One of the biggest reasons that I learned working with DevinSupetramp that those videos succeeded was because we had amazing content. And the key to making amazing content is having relatability, something that people can relate to. For example, one of his most popular videos on his channel is his bike parkour video. Yep. Why? Because everybody's ridden a bike. Everyone can relate to that activity. And so seeing people doing cool things on bike is relatable, and therefore it makes it shareable. Yep. And the other thing is relevance. If something's trending in the media, you know, for instance, if it's Super Bowl Sunday and you post a video about football, it's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's trending in the media, and it's going to make it more shareable. So that was another big thing.
Man, those are seriously like just those two are like such golden nuggets. A lot of people just are like so focused on whatever they want to create. They don't really think about their wider audience and how they can relate what they're shooting to that to help generate more views, which in turn will generate more followers and stuff like that. So I think that's an awesome point.
Here's a good example: cute girl hairstyles. I got like 5 million followers on YouTube. I heard a story of when Hunger Games was about to come out.
Mm-hmm.
They found out a way to watch it before it came out in theaters, and they saw Katniss Everdeen's hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
They learned how to braid it, and then posted a tutorial of how to do Katniss Everdeen's hairstyle the day it launched. And so every little girl who watched Hunger Games came home, typed in how to do, and of course theirs is the first video to pop up, and it's 2 million views in a day.
That's so genius. So genius.
It's relevance. What's trending in the media, what's relevant to what's happening in the world. So that's something I tell people. It's not just about going out and create content. Put some plan behind it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to shoot and why? How is it going to relate and be relevant to your audience?
Wow, that's such solid info. I think people really should like suck that in and like take a lot away from that, because that's like really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Let me elaborate on that.
For sure.
Content is king,
mm-hmm.
but distribution is queen. It doesn't do a lot of good to make great content if you don't put any effort into actually making sure it gets seen.
Okay, yeah.
So we talk about titling, how to effectively title a video, the tagging you do, the description. What are you saying in the description of your video?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about YouTube specifically right now.
Yeah.
The thumbnail, is the thumbnail captivating? Can you see it very well? Little things like that will allow your content to be distributed out to the world so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And they've run tests all the time on using the same video but different titles and different thumbnails, and it makes a world of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to distribute that content, learning how to use Facebook and Instagram effectively, learning how to really put yourself out there and market yourself using the free marketing platform of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what an age we live in to be able to just throw things out to the world, And I feel like so many people are too timid to really put themselves out there and put some time into effectively distributing their content.
That's killer. That's killer. So I got a question for you about the new Instagram algorithm. How do you think that's going to affect the whole social media world and all that stuff?
That's a good question. They're kind of taking the route Facebook did and
mm-hmm.
YouTube. It's all based off of, it's all based off of money for them. They
mm-hmm.
want to make you pay to use your audience, and their built-in marketing platform. So when I say it's a free marketing platform, yes, it's free, but even Instagram now has gotten to a point where they won't even let you use your own following to its fullest potential.
Yeah.
For example, I have, I think, 36,000 followers on Instagram, and I went from getting 2,000, 3,000 likes per photo
mm-hmm.
to around 1,000 likes per photo this week. So it's definitely hurt
mm-hmm.
a lot of influencers. But on the flip side, I think what it's going to do is make it a more effective paid advertising platform.
Gotcha.
So, if you are working with a Ford or a client, that's something that should be a part of your pitch, is not only your ability to create content, but your ability to help them market it and know how to use these advertising resources on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube. There's pre-roll ads. There's so many advertising platforms out there that if companies, and this is kind of an inside thing, but most companies will spend an equal amount, if not more, on the distribution of their content compared to the actual creating of the content. So if the budget to film the video is $50,000, companies will usually pour in $50,000 to advertise the video.
Yep.
Like I said, content is king, distribution is queen.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure you're putting in time and money into distribution as well. Obviously, if it's your own video and there's no budget, you're not going to pay for advertisements to market your own video. You're just going to rely on the hopes of virality and whatever else. But But when you are working with clients who have those budgets, it's important to, and I always tell this to clients, I'm like, if you're going to pay me $10,000 to create this content for you, I would hope and expect you're going to pay $10,000 to distribute this and get it seen.
That's
and
solid info.
To buy pre-roll ads on YouTube, to target the right demographics on Facebook, to make sure this thing is actually getting seen. For example, I did a video with Freeboard in San Francisco a couple months back, and we created the content. I put it up on my YouTube channel, and I said, that was an awesome project, guys, but I really want to encourage you guys to go out and actually distribute this. Go buy some Facebook ads. And they did, and it, it got seen probably 250,000 times more than it would have had they not paid for those, $10,000 of Facebook ads. So that's a huge part, is not only creating content, but understanding the importance of distributing it.
Yep. And you touched a little bit on virality, which I think is important to, I want to bring up, because I know that you shot, it was a small GIF, and it went crazy viral. It was the one where it talked about telephoto distances versus focal length. Yeah, so it was like, I don't know who it was, like your brother or somebody that you knew.
Buddy, yeah.
Yeah, your buddy. And you took a photo at 16, 24, 35, 50, like all the way through, and you made a GIF out of it. And I saw you post it, and then pretty soon I saw other people post it, and then I saw it on Reddit. It was just like exploded. Yeah. So that's so cool.
And why did it blow up? Because it was relevant. Like to filmmakers or photographers, they eat that stuff up like, whoa. Like that's so cool. Like I understand that, but not really. Now I do, So it's like people can relate to that. Anyone who knows focal lengths and lenses, that just blows their mind. They're so excited to see something like that. Even that kind of surprised me that it was blowing up and going viral. But it's all about content. The fact that nobody had ever posted something like that. It was new. It was fresh, and of course, it was relatable and relevant. So
sick. I think that's so cool. I was like, dude, go Parker. That's so rad. I think it had like 500,000 views on Reddit or something like that. I was like, dang,
that's awesome. Yeah,
that's badass.
My first personal viral experience was a photo I took of my two friends jumping in the air, and it looked kind of gay. I didn't think about it at the time, but one of my friends posted it to Reddit and said something like, a true best friend makes your family question your sexuality, because it looked like they were a gay couple jumping in the air. I didn't even think about that, but someone just put that caption on it, and it had 1 million hits the next day. And I'm like, what on earth? Like, that was the dumbest picture, but it had a funny caption, and it was super viral. And so it's funny the things that go viral, but it really is. It's all about related. People can relate to that best friend that made them, made their family question their sexuality. So
that's crazy. And it goes to show you the power of like putting stuff, not just like when you launch it, don't just leave it on YouTube. Take it and go like post it on Reddit. Go post it like other places where it can get a larger audience. It can like explode on those places.
And that's one thing that's happening lately is YouTube used to be the platform, but Facebook has rolled out their video marketing platform. And Mark Zuckerberg's goal is over the next 10 years, he said they're super behind in content ID matching, which means their ability to essentially protect content and make sure people aren't
like people just stealing content and uploading. I've seen that with some of Devin's videos too.
Exactly. So Mark Zuckerberg has said like we're super, it's going to take us another 5 to 10 years to create that ID matching platform. But once we do, we're going to be able to roll out a monetization platform on Facebook as well. And it's my prediction that Facebook is going to overtake the video industry in the next 5 to 10 years. And I don't know if it'll ever squash YouTube, but I think it's already, as you've seen, like Devin's videos usually have more views on Facebook ripped by some random, news station in Mexico than his own YouTube channel with 4 million followers.
That's crazy.
So I think it's really important not only post on YouTube, but I'll always make a shorter version of the video, post it to my Facebook, link it to my YouTube, post a 15-second on my Instagram, link it to YouTube, just link those social medias.
Yeah, and create that web.
Exactly.
That's so sick. And then where do you see like the future of filmmaking going? Do you see like 360 content? Are you going to be like shooting 360 cameras soon? Or what are you doing?
I don't know. I have a hard time seeing 360. To me, it's kind of like 3D. I feel like 3D has always been the future and the thing, but no one's really cared enough to catch on. And it's always been like, yeah, it's cool, but it's kind of annoying wearing glasses, and it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, 3D is cool, but it's kind of annoying having to spin around in a circle to see, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's relevant enough. I don't know if it's relatable enough to a wider audience to catch on. We'll see. I could be wrong.
Yep.
But
I think for some specific projects, it's going to be really killer. But in general, I think 2D video is just like, it's here to stay.
Yeah, I think there's just some things that can't be. I mean, you got to think about a worldwide audience. I mean, maybe the people who, I don't know. It's just think about the 6 billion people on the earth, and how many of them will honestly have access to virtual reality type headsets and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I don't see as big of a demographic for 360 or 3D as there is for just a plain screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. Well, time will tell.
Time will tell, exactly. Yeah, we'll see. I know Samsung's pushing it really hard. I heard Apple's going to come out with their own like VR viewer. So I mean, we'll see.
I saw the funniest ad. Google Cardboard, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, Google Cardboard's awesome.
But it was basically, they were making fun of, I don't know what product it was making fun of, but it was basically everyone was wearing a virtual headset, but they were just goggles. And it was like the best virtual reality is reality. And it's people just wearing goggles, and they're actually just in life doing real things. You know?
Life is the most immersive video game ever.
To me, that's the future of virtual reality, is just learning how to live in reality.
Yeah, living real life is the next virtual reality. That's awesome.
To answer your question.
Killer. Well, let's do some couple quick questions from the Dope Shot Club, and then I'll let you go.
Cool.
All right, cool. So hop in the Dope Shot Club, and I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and kind of share your vision, and then we'll have to get all your. Are you on Snapchat right now?
I'm not. I did it for a couple of years, and I got completely addicted. I have to admit, I was one of the best Snapchatters I know of. But
not to toot your own horn, but to.
It was taking over my life. I was doing like 200 a day, and I'm like, all right, this is a waste of my life. Like,
yeah.
I'm not. So I just deleted it and I ended it. So no, I'm not on Snapchat, but hit me up on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook.
Yep.
On
it's all Parker Walbeck, right?
Yep, Parker Walbeck.
Yep, super cool. All right, cool. All right, we covered how'd you get in touch with Devin. Okay, so here's a great one. It's from our member Justin. He says, what motivates you to make, direct, shoot a film? So like, what's kind of your motivation behind everything you do when you're out there filming?
I think the biggest thing for me, and the reason I got into it, was, like I said, going back to that video I watched of Devin, I felt inspired. I felt inspired not only watching his content and just felt that emotion that it portrayed, but I felt inspired to make a change in my life. I felt inspired to turn that into my career. And that's what I want to do with my content. I want to inspire other people, whether it's to go out and travel the world and enjoy the world we live in. There's so much negative media out there, and I'm trying to create content to combat with all the negativity and give people something that inspires and uplifts and motivates them to live life and look at life as something that's good. Look at the world as a good place. There's so much good, beautiful, amazing places and people out there, and all we see on the news is war and bloodshed and all the garbage, you know? And so it's my goal when I'm creating content to inspire other people to live life to the fullest, and in some cases inspire them to do the same as what I'm doing and live their life in a similar way, creating content to inspire other people, and the cycle continues.
Dude, that's amazing. Such a good answer. Solid. I feel that's really, really cool of you. That's way cool, because I feel like definitely there's a lot of bad stuff out there, so that's so cool to like go out there and like make it happen. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here's a good one. It's from Daniel. He says, and you touched on it a little bit, but he asks, how do you make sure that you still have creative freedom when working with like bigger clients?
Yeah, that's an important one.
Because like you're saying, they want to make sure they have their logo in every shot, but they're also bringing you on because you have the specific eye. So you have to find that balance, right? How does that work out?
It's a hard balance to find. That's an eternal struggle right there, guys. And especially the thing is, the more money they're putting into it, the more hands-on they are to control the final product.
Yep.
And you have to constantly remind them, like, you hired me on to do the creative. Like, if you want this to be as good as I'm able to make it, you need to allow me some freedom. And a lot of times we did campaigns. So the Ford campaign was a 4-video deal. The first one was kind of stifled. The second one they loosened up. By 3 and 4, they just let us do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta kind of earn trust too. And that's something I talk about in the course, is building a clientele. When building a clientele, it's not just about the final product. Earning clients and keeping clients is about the entire working experience. You have to be a pleasure to work with. You have to build, like I said, you have to build relationships with these people. Human, real relationships. Learn how to build your social skills. Learn how to communicate effectively. You know, you can tell somebody, you know, I'm a creative person, you hired me to do this, in a nice and loving way, you know? Mm-hmm. And those companies that are going to hire you and keep you around are the ones that you build those relationships with, and you can say those kinds of things in an effective way that will allow you to be creative, but also allow them to get their product in there that they need.
That's awesome. And I feel like over time, like you're saying with the 4 different videos, if your content really starts to hit, it's going to speak for themselves, and they're going to trust you more and more, like you're saying. So that's definitely an important point to.
Yep, all about, and this is something I talk about is, people ask, well, how do you get a client in the first? How do you get a sponsorship? You know? Yeah. And one of the, I like to call it free to fee. So be willing to work for free. Mm-hmm. So for example, this shirt I'm wearing right now, Cotopaxi, mm-hmm. Right when I left Devin, I didn't have any clients. I was starting fresh. And so I approached this company and I said, hey, I'm about to go shoot an awesome Southern Utah adventure video. I'd love to use your gear and promote it. And that's something I highly recommend. Anytime you're going to shoot content, guys, find some products to place in it. It'll do wonders for your videos if you can find a product. Even if you don't get their consent or their agreement, plug some products and then send it to them and say, hey, check out this thing I did with your mm-hmm. product in it, you know? And so I got some products from them. I wore them in the whole video. I sent it to them and I said, here you go, guys. Here's some free content for you. You're welcome. You know, shoot it for free. Go shoot a video for free. Add value first, as much to individuals as to companies. Add value. And they saw the content and they're like, holy crap, this is awesome. We love this. Will you guys go to Hawaii next month? We'll pay you and do the exact same thing. And we're like, heck yes. So that's how I built a relationship with Cotopaxi. And that's a great way to answer that question. That's a great way to get around them forcing their ways in their product. Go shoot a video for free in your way. And then it becomes your way, working with them for forever, because you did it for free. And once they saw how amazing your way was, they'll want to hire you to do it your way, you know? That's
awesome. That's so smart. Like coming in kind of under the radar, which gives you the creative freedom. And then they see that it works because you obviously have the skills to make it awesome. Then they're going to be like, well, why don't we just do all the videos like this because it's working? And then you have the freedom and you have the money. Like, that's genius, Parker. Genius. All right, cool. So let's see what else we got. So Tad wants to know right now, what's your go-to equipment and why? He says, obviously, there's the glide cam in there, but what else you got?
Glide cam is the bread and butter, guys.
So are you using the Devin SuperTramp edition glide cam?
So I have the HD2000 and the Devin Graham glide cam. There's pros and cons. I mean, I personally like the gimbal better on the 2000.
Interesting.
I think it's a little bit easier to maneuver, but they're pretty much the same. I actually put the Devin Graham head on my 2000 body because it has the nicer quick release plate on the Devin Graham series. Yep. So I have a hybrid that I've made, so I like them both. But so glide cam is my go-to. I always tell, that's why I gave out 5 glide cams yesterday, guys, and I'm giving out 2 more to the members who sign on before the end of next Wednesday, I think, is when the final launch day closes. But yeah, so I'm always enabling. I'm giving out these glide cams because to me it's the best investment I've made. And I tell people, even if you don't win the glide cams, guys, make the investment, because this is what separates me from a lot of other filmmakers, is my ability to use the glide cam. As far as camera equipment goes, I'm using the Canon 1DC. I looked into a lot of different 4K DSLR setups. And to me, that was the best for what I wanted to shoot. I recommend the Sony A7S II. I think that's an amazing option. A cheaper option that I think is really awesome is the GH4 Panasonic. Great budget 4K cameras. But if you can afford it, the 1DC is amazing. But I think it's like 8,000 new. Canon just came out with the Canon 1DX Mark II, which I might actually sell my 1DC and get that because it shoots 4K at 60 frames per second.
That would be sick.
So that's probably the next camera I'll get as far as DSLR goes. And I'm saving up right now. One of the main reasons I've done this full-time filmmaker course is to be able to save up enough to invest in a red weapon. So I think that's my next investment.
Dope.
Is going all the way.
Yeah, you want that 8K, huh?
What's that?
You want that 8K.
Not the 8K, the 6K.
Just say goodbye to all your hard drive space.
I know, right? Well, that's the way we're heading, man.
But the footage is gonna look absurdly awesome. So.
Well, and I rent out red cameras for my higher end productions, and I use the DSLR. So I recommend owning a good DSLR and renting higher end stuff. I'm getting to a point now where I'm getting enough higher end work where it's almost smarter just to buy a red. So I'll probably do that within the next month or a year.
Good for you.
But that just takes time to work up to. I've been going at it for 4 or 5 years now, and it just takes time to work up that gear. And one thing I'll mention about buying gear is buy gear as you need it. So, for example, I got hired on to do this video that required slow motion, super slow-mo, and the budget was $5,000. So I spent half the budget to buy a brand new camera that would allow me to shoot slow-mo. The Sony FS700R shot 240 frames per second, and so I bought a slow-motion camera with the budget of the project I needed it for. So don't just go out and buy stuff just because you want it. Like, be smart about it and buy stuff when you need it. And that's going to help justify it and help you know when you need a new piece of equipment.
Wow. That's a total hack right there.
Yeah, so I just bought the Movi M5 that I use for my Canon 1DC, and I'm loving it as well. I still use GlideCam more. I think it's more versatile, but there's definitely situations where, like when I'm in a helicopter or the back of a car, Movies are just so much nicer to use. So, there's times when I like to use different tools for different situations, as I say. But GlideCam for me is number one as far as stabilizers go. Love the Movi. Movi versus DJI Ronin, they're both good guys. Ronin's going to be a lot cheaper, but I overall think Movi's better. As far as lenses go, I have the 16-35 Canon L series, 24-70, 70-200. Those are my 3 main go-tos. And I just got a Sigma 50mm Art 1.4, which I absolutely love. Highly recommend the Art series. I think they're a great alternative. Half the price of Canon L series, and in my opinion, some of them are even better.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think they're awesome.
That's dope. I really appreciate all the knowledge dropping of the gear. People in this group are going to be like, oh my gosh, yes.
All the gearheads are going to be excited about that.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Let's see. What are you doing in the film? All right, so this will be the final question from the group. It comes from James. He says, what's the most important thing for a novice filmmaker to invest in after buying their first camera and a lens?
GlideCam all the way, baby.
GlideCam's sick. So it's like camera, lens, stabilization, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, the fact that I mastered that GlideCam, and it's hard. It's like riding a bike, guys. People get discouraged because they buy the GlideCam and they're like, this is hard, and they don't ever put time and practice. Like, it's like riding a bike. Like, if you were to get on a bike for the first time and crash because you don't have any idea how the heck to ride it, most people would quit. But if you didn't have dad pushing you and teaching you how to go for a few weeks, and then once you get it, and you're good for life, And that's how the GlideCam is. Like, you have to put in those first few months of just toughing out how hard it is. Or anyone who's played the guitar, your fingers kill for those first few months, and then once your calluses get in there and you're like used to it, you're good. You're good for life.
Yep.
So that's the same concept with GlideCam. Be willing to put in some time to really get good at it. The other thing I'd say investing in is education, and that's obviously I'm plugging myself there, but buying gear doesn't do you any good if you have no idea how to use it. And
Yep.
you can go the route I did and spend 4 or 5 months and get something out of YouTube, or you can go to film school and spend 40 grand in 4 years, or there's alternatives online, and to me, I feel I have one of the best alternatives out there.
That's so sick.
Which is right now it's half off. It's like $300 for my full lifetime course, and
That's good.
Being able to use your gear to its fullest potential to me is so important, even more important than buying new gear. People have asked me, should I buy a new camera or buy your course? And I'm like, well, how good are you using your camera? Like, if you're not very good, then buy the course first, figure out how to use it, make some money with your current camera,
Yep.
and then use that to upgrade,
That's sick. Well, cool, Parker. I guess the final question for moving beyond just cameras and shooting and gear and stuff like that, what's like your number one piece of advice for anyone out there for living like a full, happy life? Because I feel like you've done so much, you've seen so much of the world, you've experienced, met a lot of people, you've done like things that people only dream about. So like, what do people got to do to live like a happy, fulfilled life?
Oh, that's a good question, man. That is a really good question. What is life? What is happiness? I love Steve Jobs, one of my inspirations. I love his quote. He said, work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you love. And I found that to be absolutely true. And that's one of the main reasons I created this course, is to enable people to do what they love for a living. And like I said, I went to college. I struggled for a few years figuring out what to do, and finally came back to video and just went for it. And I can't tell you how happy I am because of that decision I made. Being able to do what you love for a living, it doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like anything else, it becomes a job, and there's times you don't want to work, but life changes, guys. You're going to spend 60 to 70% of your life working. Why wouldn't you want to spend that 60% of your life doing something you enjoy? So don't settle. Like Steve Jobs says, don't settle. Don't take the advice that everyone in the world wants to tell you can't become what you want to become. Guys, you can be whatever the heck you want. But you have to be willing to put the work into it. You have to be willing to do what nobody else is willing to do. This is extremely difficult to be where I'm at in my life. You guys have no idea how many all-nighters I spent proving to Devin how hard I could work for him, how many sacrifices I made financially and socially, not hanging out on the weekends so that I could spend an extra weekend, editing to learn how to get better, to get ahead of the crowd and to turn this into a career. You guys got to be willing to sacrifice and to risk and to put your heart into it. But I promise you guys, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to work harder and smarter and longer and persevere, it's going to be worth it. You're going to be happy and enjoy what you do for a living.
Killer. Dope. Well, everyone in the group, please check out Parker. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. ParkerWalbeck.com. Full-time filmmaker course. Don't look for him on Snapchat. It's not going to happen. But thanks
I might
again.
surprise you one day and post something amazing that will blow your mind.
Yes.
I draw the best things on there, man. You have no idea.
The finger skills, man. Awesome. Well, thank you again, man, for spending the time with us to impart all the knowledge and all the wisdom that you've gained from all your travels. So thanks again. And
guys, go chase your dreams. Go do it.
Yes. Peace out, Parker.